These are the Hifiman Sundara. These are Hifiman's $500 planar magnetic headphones. They have been fairly well received and offer, quote, beautiful music to your ears, according to Hifiman. Whether or not these headphones are beautiful will be up to the beholder, and whether these headphones produce beautiful sound also will be up for debate. But for now, let's get to the unboxing first. The Sundara fit into the Hifiman mid-range headphones. Hifiman promises stellar performance from these drivers while improving some of the build issues the previous headphones had. Hopefully. You see, Hifiman has had a rocky history with its drivers. While there are plenty of fans for this company, even fanboys will have to admit that Hifiman has made some terrible build quality decisions. However, it appears that Hifiman's manufacturing process has gotten noticeably better, and the Sundara should be more robust than the previous headphones from Hifiman. The Sundara are an interesting headphone. They look substantially better, in my opinion, than most of Hifiman's other headphone lineup. Looks aside, the Sundara have an odd 37 ohm impedance. Hifiman does not state on their website what the size of the drivers is. However, another review website stated that the drivers are an odd 60 millimeters. Hifiman calls the drivers in the Sundara Neo Super Nano Diaphragm. What does this mean? I have no idea. But according to Hifiman, this design is 80% thinner than previous versions, therefore much betterer. The frequency response is 6 Hz to 75,000 Hz, so clearly well outside anyone's audible range. There are people who love the Sundara, for example, Joshua Velour, and others who really dislike them. There is some criticism of the Sundara. For example, some reviewers have said that the Sundara has lean bass and a coarse mid-frequency and artificial heightened sibilance. In my opinion, the Sundara are an interesting pair of headphones, but they don't do anything fantastic. That is, they're not the best in anything. They do a very good job at a competitive price, though. I think some might be correct in saying that the Sundara sound a little bass light, and others would be correct in saying that the Sundara sound bass heavy, and somebody else might be correct in saying that the Sundara sound bass perfect. It all depends on preference and taste. Although I agree that the bass is light in comparison to some other headphones, I don't think that the Sundara lack bass. That is, you will hear it. The sub-bass frequency does show a bit of rumble. It's not overwhelming and it will not subdue the mids. There is some separation between the sub-bass and mid-bass, though frankly that gets a little bit muddy for me in some songs. The vocals sound absolutely clear. In Want You Back by Haim, I can clearly hear all three vocalists even when the entire mix is playing. In Pure Water by Migos, the Sundara present the bass audibly without overwhelming the vocals. In other words, the bass sounds clear and does not distort the mids. I frankly do not hear the harshness some others have pointed out. That might be because I simply have not heard a song that emphasizes that frequency, or that I am not particularly sensitive to it. The Sundara fit entirely around my ears. They sit fairly comfortably on my head, though after a few hours an adjustment is necessary. Although I personally like the design, the headband could use a lot more padding. That's where most of the discomfort comes, in my opinion. Hifiman says that the Sundara has clear, crisp sound. Well, yeah, for the large part that's true. But for a little muddiness in the bass, I would tend to agree that these headphones do sound quite clear. The wide soundstage, wider than what I have heard in headphones of this price range, is a pleasure to boot. These are obviously open-back headphones. As such, you would expect an open sound signature, meaning you would think these headphones would sound like you're listening to speakers. Yes, that is true to a good degree, but the Sundara are not the most open-sounding headphones I have ever heard. Nor are the Sundara claustrophobic. Indeed, I would say that the Sundara have a wider soundstage than the Neumann NDH20 and the Audeze LCD1. Now, the NDH20 is a closed-back headphone that sounds really, really closed, and not in a good way. The LCD-1, on the other hand, is an open-back headphone, but for one reason or another sounds noticeably less open than the Sundara. Overall, I think that the Sundara are an interesting option for those who want to get into planar magnetic headphones. Hifiman's history of build problems aside, the Sundara are indeed a step in the right direction. I can't wait to start testing and comparing the Sundara to reach my final conclusions during the review process.